Good evening and welcome to this very special show. I mean, every month Cendrine and I get together and we talk to someone who is at the top of the game, who knows what they're talking about, is an expert in their area. And it's my pleasure tonight to pass over to Cendrine to introduce our guest.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Guillaume. I'm very, very excited to have Guillaume tonight, Guillame Decugis. I hope I pronounce it right.
Yes, perfect.
Who is French like me, so it's fantastic. And Guillaume is the CEO and co-founder of Scoop.it, which is a content curation platform. And Guillaume is a serial entrepreneur who has done a lot of work in 15 years. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to talk to you today. So first time we actually speak to each other that way. So that's right. Exciting. So you're in San Francisco right now, but Scoop.it, the headquarters of Scoop.it are in Toulouse, my hometown. So that's doubly exciting for me. So for those who do not know Scoop.it, who do not know you, could you give us an introduction?
Yeah, so, and, you know, super excited to be here. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody. And again, sorry for the technical glitches at the beginning. So, Scoop.it is our mission at Scoop.it is to help professionals and businesses publish content. The reason we got started was really, 6 years ago, we were thinking about how the Web 2.0 changed the way we could become visible online. And we felt, the internet had already changed a lot, but Web 2.0, social networking, user-generated content, all that meant that content was going to drive the game from now on. And so we started Scoop.it because we felt a lot of professionals, a lot of small business owners, a lot of marketers are not going to be able to, become media as fast as they should. And so we need to help them with that challenge. And so we started as a content curation platform. The idea of curation is that you don't necessarily have to author everything you publish. You can also curate what somebody else has written or created, and add your own spin to it. Make a really careful selection of the best content on a given topic, and add some context, add some elaborate on that topic, add some insights. And this is really a powerful way to connect with an audience and to build an audience. And so we felt that's a great opportunity to solve the first challenge that people have with what we started to call content marketing back then, which is not having enough content but still wanting to express yourself online, still wanting to build an audience online. So that's how we get started.
Yep.
I
think Stephen froze.
That's the key.
Oh,
I'm back again. That's the key, isn't it? If you're on the internet and you're actually creating content, there needs to be a stream of content besides your own.
Yeah, if you look at our homepage, what we like to say is you are the content you publish, and I think that's a truth which seems obvious now, but it was totally not the case 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. And I'm not even talking about before the internet, but with the first version of the web, you could be visible through, SEO, which involved a lot of technical and sophisticated things back then. And SEO completely changed. Now it's all about content. SEO and content marketing are more and more the same thing. There still is a bit of, technical things you need to do, of course, but 80% of the SEO, if you talk to SEO people, 80% of the value is coming from content. So, you are the content you publish, like it or not. And if you publish nothing, means you don't exist, you're not visible online. And if you publish, not good content, people, this will hurt your brand, whether it's your personal brand or whether it's your business brand. So this is, the new game, the new context we all evolve in. And whether it's for, our personal career development or professional brand, or whether it's for our business, we need to publish great content to become visible and to engage with our audience, potential employers, potential customers or partners. That's the new game we're in.
Indeed. And content discovery is key, isn't it? I mean, this is one of the main elements of Scoop.it. Can you sort of describe how the search engine works?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our first, so the problem we're trying to solve is, help people publish content. And the first hurdle that we heard a lot from people was, yeah, well, so how are we going to be producing content? And so that's the idea of curation that I was just explaining. Now, curation is actually not a time saver at all if you don't have tools to automate the discovery. The big problem with curation, it could be, curation can be very time consuming. And there's been a lot of curators who didn't wait for Scoop.it or other curation tools to become great curators. They just spent a lot of time doing that. If you talk to someone like Robin Good,
right.
There's a lot of great examples of great curators, and they did curation 10 years ago. They just spent a lot of time. And the bulk of the time that is spent is in discovering great content to share and curate. And so we built a technology that automated this, not to replace curators, but actually to empower them. We don't believe in automated curation. All of the attempts of trying to do automated curation, failed in the end. Right now Facebook is getting some fire from the Republicans in the US because, maybe or maybe not, they're playing with the filters and, so there's the whole controversy in the US on that. So automated filtering doesn't work. What we're doing with our technology is we're crawling the web on behalf of our users. So our users start creating what we call topics, which is they define a topic they want to show expertise and thought leadership on. They describe it with a few keywords. And our system is going to crawl more than 35 million web pages, and the number increases every day. And we crawl the web for you. So every day we crawl more than 35 million pages so that you don't have to. And we come out with content that matches those keywords. We rank that, using dozens and dozens of criteria, and we filter that. We give you some filters. So if you want to get fresh content from the last 2 weeks or last 48 hours, you can. You can filter on the formats. If you want to get just videos, you can do that as well. So that's what we do. We automate that discovery through our technology.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now you've got to the stage where, as a user, you're presented with the latest information from, as you said, from 35 million sites around the web, and it's been pre-ranked for you, so you know the relevancy of knowing. Sorry, my apologies, I'm freezing. What happens next? What can a user do with that?
So what happens next is up to you, but we make it easy. So of course, discovery is just one step. So that's what we automate. The second thing we do is the platform has a number of publishing tools. So if you want to share that to social media, and that's what I think a lot of people think about curation for is, I can discover content and I can share that to social media to engage my Facebook followers, my Twitter followers. And that's great, you can do that. But what we realize is that when you do that, you miss out on the opportunity to actually build something bigger, which is create your own media property on the internet. And the reason for that is that when you share to social media, you're actually driving people away from you to this original content site. And you definitely want to do that. You want to send people back to the original website. But you miss an opportunity to tell them why you gave them that video to watch or that article to read in the first place. So you miss an opportunity to explain and add value. And so this is why we created other ways to publish that. We have this concept of topic pages, which are really a mini content site that you can build either on the Scoop.it platform, or you can even host that on your domain, integrate that with your website. We also have ways to publish directly to your WordPress or HubSpot or Drupal website. So it can be pretty sophisticated. But the idea is that if you're just tweeting links, you're missing out. Curation is bigger than that. And curation also means that you can take that content and turn that into what we call a curated post. And so it's a way to blog without blogging. If you it's kind of a joke we had with a reporter about we've invented blogging without blogging. And the idea is that blogging takes a lot of time. Creating I've been blogging for a long time now, and it still takes me 4 or 5 hours to create a blog post. And but if I read something that's on my topic of expertise, in just 10, 15, 20 minutes, I'll come out with 2 paragraphs that are going to be bringing my own opinion, or data points to complete the story, or some perspective. And it's going to take me 10, 15, 20 minutes, and I can turn that into a post, either on a Scoop.it page or our WordPress blog. And so now it benefits my SEO. Now it builds my engagement on my property, on my website. And of course, I can share that further, but then I can use social networking to distribute that content, as opposed to make it the place where I'm going to create all the engagement. So that's what happens next. You can make something of that content, either publish it directly to social, or turn that into something that will be part of your own media property, and then distribute it.
Now, Cendrine has been with you since the beginning of 2010. And I'm sure she has questions as well.
I couldn't hear a thing.
Right, sorry. Cendrine, you've been with Scoop.it since the beta in 2010, and you have some questions that you want.
Yeah, Cendrine, you've been here forever. And
yeah.
From the private beta to now, and
Yeah, I've been around the block. No, I've been following Scoop.it for so many years. It's such a great platform. That's actually where I started curating, really, really curating. So at the end of 2010. So it's been a while. And I really like what you said about, curation, which is also part of blogging. It's part of creation. Curation is very complementary. And I like what you said about, curation, because a lot of people think that curation is just aggregation. They do not realize that it can be very time consuming, that good curation takes a lot of time, and you do not have to just curate one post. You can put curate several sources within one blog post. So that's a really good point to make, because a lot of people have this idea that curation is just, a bunch of links that you put together and that you share with others. So the thing I like the most about Scoop.it, aside from the fact that I got a lot of followers from Scoop.it and got my big I forgot the word, but I got a lot of traction from Scoop.it. I have to say that. But one thing I really like about Scoop.it is the fact that people can embed posts that they curate from Scoop.it directly on their websites. So when we talk about curation, creation, what for you is important? Should people just curate on their blogs, or should they create content? And what's the percentage for each?
Yeah, it's a great question, and to me, it's a continuum. And by the way, as we started with curation, for us it was a first step, and we've now recently, actually a year and a half ago now, we've launched Scoop.it Content Director, which helps with the full content marketing cycle. So it's more a B2B product, and it's for marketers of small marketing teams, and it helps with both original and curated content. And to me, it's a continuum. The goal here is to help you publish content. Curation is usually a lot simpler than creation, and it's also helping. So it's helping going faster, not to the point where it's just a one-click process, and you've highlighted that, and we've talked about that. It's to me, it's a few minutes, but you still have to invest that. But it's faster, but it's also helping you understand your space a lot better. When we got started, I wasn't a marketer. I'm an engineer by training. My previous company was in the mobile space, totally different. I mean, it was still content. It was mobile music, so you could say it's content, but I wasn't doing content marketing 6 years ago. But doing some curation work on content marketing made me understand everything that happened in that space, helped me build expertise, knowledge, and I think it's a great way also to think about how you can understand what the industry is saying. We're not creating content in a vacuum. So that debate about creation versus curation, it's a continuum and it's a mix. The reality is I always encourage people to create as much as they can, as long as it's good. The problem is when you're getting started on a new topic, you can't claim to have the expertise of somebody who's been doing that for 5 years. So curation is probably going to be your best shot at providing that quality level. And when you have expertise, but you have limited resources and time, maybe you can do one good blog post every week, but maybe, you can go to 5 by completing, complementing the creation work by curation. My gold standard is to make sure that whatever I publish, I can be proud of it. This is something that if somebody holds that post against me, 2 years down the road and say, hey, you guys published this, I can say, yes, there was a good reason I published that. So I want to maintain my quality level. In order for me to do that, I can't be doing 100% creation. I'm not that good. And I think, nobody really is. So I do this mix of creation and curation. And to me, they're part of the same continuum. And you can see some of my curated posts, might have just one paragraph. Some of them I get inspired, and in just 15 minutes, I'll publish, 500 words, and they can be longer than some of my blog posts. So, I think the two are really important. And I think the creation process has always fed, it's in the human creation process has never been creation in a vacuum. If you look at the artists, if you look at, book writers, authors, they've always referenced, past work. So, creation in a vacuum, creation in the absolute sense doesn't exist. It's always a continuum.
See back? No, he froze. But so content curation has always existed. We know that. We always curate to friends. We curate to people when we didn't used to call it that way. But content curation for the last maybe 3-4 years has become a sort of a buzzword, right? So why do you think now content curation has it at the top of the pile? Why suddenly?
Yeah, so you're right. And, the way I describe curation is what, we were doing when and that's going to date me, I'm sorry, but this is what we were doing as teenagers when we listened to music. We made tapes of our favorite music. And, the best thing you could do, like if you wanted to meet a girl and you wanted to do it, hey, I made that tape for you with my favorite music. So you were curating music back in the days, and I was in the 80s. So sorry for the millennials or have no idea what I'm talking about. But today it would probably be a Spotify playlist or something. But anyway, so it's always been existing. You're right. I think what's new is that it's information overload. With the modern web, we have infinite capacity to publish anywhere. It becomes click on a mobile phone, and it's super easy to do. So I think curation today is both an opportunity and a need. We need curation to make better sense of all the content we have out there. And curation is an opportunity. That's the opportunity we described to publish and to kind of ramp up your publishing efforts. And so because it's both a need and an opportunity, it resonates really well. And you're a shining star example of this. You've been building a fantastic audience in Scoop.it, and we've seen people get millions of viewers on their Scoop.it pages because it serves a need. As readers, as content consumers, we want to make sense. We can't read everything, so we want people who help us make sense of a given topic, and those are curators. And to give you some figures and to put that in perspectives, we're super proud of having, we're getting near 3 million users on the Scoop.it platform. And that's great. That's a great number. But the number we're the proudest of is that those people collectively attracted close to 300 million visitors on their Scoop.it pages. So that's really the size of audience that they're able to create, of course, collectively. Some of them are super successful, and some of them give up. It's our platform helps. It doesn't make it magic, but it's really one of the best chances you have of building an audience right now if you have limited time and resources. So that's the number I'm proud of. It helps build this audience, and that to me is fantastic.
Well, 300 million is an amazing audience to have. And the thing is that anybody who's on Scoop.it can reach out to that audience. They're actually on the site.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can make use of the audience that other people are attracting.
Yeah. So that's kind of our model, and we help you create an audience on Scoop.it, and that's our free version. And then you can integrate that in your website. So of course, if you own a business or if you have a company, if you're a marketer, you don't want to just have this audience on Scoop.it. And actually, I'm the first one to say it's dangerous to depend on somebody else's to build your audience. You don't want to, and we don't want to depend on Facebook or Twitter. And there's been an interesting debate of whether you need to build your audience on rented lands. So for us, it's clear. Our free version is you build that on Scoop.it pages. If you want to bring that onto your website, on your WordPress, HubSpot, Drupal, if you want to create content sites, you can do that and build that on your own domain, which will help your SEO, not the Scoop.it SEO.
Right.
And that's what our premium plans and our enterprise version. So Scoop.it Content Director enable you to do, among other things.
Yeah, but when you actually have your own topic on Scoop, you're building up a knowledge base, aren't you? A permanent knowledge base that not only can you refer to yourself, but you can refer other people to. So, for argument's sake, I run a topic called Blogging Effectively, which is simply a collection and editing of.
Froze again.
Freezing again, Stephen.
People who've written about best blogging. Sorry, who've written about best blogging practices.
So I think you're describing the fact that those pages become resources. And I remember, I think it was at the very beginning, right after we launched, we noticed our first ping back from Wikipedia, and that first was fantastic. There was somebody who made an edit on Wikipedia, On Wikipedia, you have all those references, and you usually use as references, media sites, established sites, and somebody's Scoop.it page became the reference for a Wikipedia article. So I remember that, and that's kind of showing what you described is that those pages become resources. They become, a great collection of content on a given topic. But not just a collection, and you're right, it's not just aggregating links that matter. It's also enriched by the curator's own perspective. So, people who have expertise to tell you, hey, this article is actually good, but I disagree with part 3. Or if you want to elaborate on this topic, you should also read that. So that to me is what's really interesting for visitors there, is they get great content with a perspective.
We froze again, but okay. An important point you made is about perspective and sharing your point of view and so on and so forth. And that's something that Scoop.it allows people to do, because you have a comment section that allows to build conversation and so on and so forth. But in terms of being a content curator, what according to you are the most important traits of a very good content curator?
Yes, so that's interesting. I think there are some common things, and then there's a debate we always have about, is it about volume versus quality, and how does it play out, and we studied that. I think to me the common things are it starts with great content. It's like you said, it's not putting out any kind of content that doesn't have great value for your audience. It's about making a selection. Good curators are selective in what they publish. They don't, and we help them come out with great suggestions. But our algorithm is just as good as the technology behind it. It's great. We're super proud of it. But we'll never pretend that it does your job. So you still apply some selection there. Then I think personalizing the content to your audience is key. Great curators edit the title, give it a different spin. Maybe it'll change a picture to have something that is more, in tune with their audience. So, if your topic is, big data for a specific, how can SMBs leverage big data, for instance? You could take an article on big data and say, okay, what's in it for SMBs? So, playing that kind of contextualization is really key. And then, I think, so there are some common best practices, and, there's lots of, best practices on our blog at blog.scoop.it or, resource center. And then there's been this question, which is, do you create an audience faster by publishing more or publishing better? And we found we did some interesting analysis on this. So quantity is easy to measure, and we have tons of data on this. Quality is, of course, more subjective, but we've done something at Scoop.it, which we introduced what we call the Scoop.it score. And of course, we try to rationalize quality. It's always hard, but we try to look at, data like, the engagement people have with content, the number of things, which are, the type of things you can do with Scoop.it content, how many times it gets reshared and things like that. And so we come up with, some ranking for quality, which, we could debate whether it's the best. We're not saying it's perfect, but it's some ranking. What we found is that the top percentile of users in terms of quantity, we're doing an average 4x than the median in terms of traffic building. And it was pretty much the same for the top 10% in quality. Now, the interesting part is that those who were both in the top 10 for quality and for quantity were doing 10 to 12x better. So, it's about combining both.
Right. Now, you have plans for the future with regards to content curation and the technology behind it in helping content marketers become more successful. I'm sorry. You have plans to help people succeed, and you're bringing out some articles and reviews.
I think he's referring to the role of technology in helping content marketing success.
Okay.
And I know you're about to release some pieces, some content to help people with that.
Yes, and so the background for this, so thanks for the question. The background for this, and that's really a topic that is fascinating to me, because I think we're about to see a lot of changes in content marketing and in content in general. I think we're at the point where technology is going to be a game changer again. And the background for this is, remember, we started because we felt that the big problem people were going to have is, how do I become a publisher? And so we thought, okay, step one, what are they missing? Content. Well, curation helps them ramp up, become more knowledgeable, become more confident about creating content, and also gives them content when they don't have any. But the sad news about this is that publishing content is not enough. And that's what we're seeing right now. And that's been the story around content marketing for the last 2 years. There was a great post by Mark Schiffer, kind of a wake-up call on, he introduced that content shock. So now that everybody's doing content marketing, which isn't true, a lot of people are still not doing it, but more and more people are doing content marketing, he said, well, we're going to have diminishing return. It's going to be hard to be, really, it's going to be more competitive. I think some of that is true, some of that is debatable. There's a whole debate around it. But the truth is that what we've seen observing people use our platform is that, publishing a lot of content is not enough. That's publishing consistently, and we could debate about the right volume, but publishing consistently is mandatory. It's mandatory, but it's not sufficient. And what we've seen is that there are other hurdles in the content marketing game, which are how do you distribute your content? How do you analyze content performance for people who are business owners or B2B marketers? It's a lot about the ROI and getting people to become leads and all of that. And so that's what drove us to build Scoop.it Content Director as a way to cover the full content marketing cycle. And by the way, not just for curation anymore, but also for curation and original content. So we help you plan that content. We help you produce that content, either original or curated. We help you distribute it over social media channels, email, or through content sites. And we help you analyze content performance so you can get better, and you can also amplify the content that is successful. Now, if we look at what we've been doing that for the last 2 years, and it's really doing really well. We have some clients who tell us that in just 7 weeks they've multiplied their traffic by 4 on their blog. So that's really good. And we usually help them because we help them work faster and in a more structured manner. But what we realized is that there were a lot of opportunities that they were not leveraging, because content marketing has become very sophisticated. You need to publish content several times. You need to optimize your distribution. You need to analyze content performance. There's a ton of best practices on content marketing. There's lots of tools, and we're overwhelmed. So what we're launching is a kind of, think of it, and that's kind of the direction we're going into, almost like artificial intelligence for content marketing. Think of it as a companion, like a droid that analyzes what you're doing to really, find out opportunities, tell you things like, hey, this blog post is actually performing really well, but it's evergreen content and you haven't shared it in 3 months. You could share it again to generate more leads and traffic. Or, you've been using that keyword. Well, that's great, but people are also looking for that keyword or that keyword, and you should enrich your content with those keywords. So lots of things like this. That's what we're working on, because producing enough content is just the first hurdle. Distributing it well and having it convert and understanding how the performance works is really, really important. That's why we talk about the content marketing cycle, and that's what drives our roadmap and our development. Yes, absolutely.
Cendrine, have you more questions? Or if anyone watching has questions, then please type them bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and we'll read them out, and Guillaume can answer them. We'll record for another 5 minutes or so, if that's okay with you, sir. And then we'll go off camera, and perhaps people will come on camera.
There is a question actually at the top of the chat, but I cannot scroll up. It goes up every single time.
Oh, right. Okay.
Durham Skywriter, I am sorry, I don't know her name. She asked, as a publisher of an online community paper for my city, would it be a good idea for me to use Scoop.it to identify or unearth stories and topics for the development of stories?
I would say yes. I think, you should look at it from the point of view of your audience. And most of the time, your audience is looking for value in your content. This could be educational, informative, or entertaining. So if you're doing a community paper for your city, I imagine that they're looking for a mix maybe of information, entertainment. Now, do you provide all of it, or would they be, seeing more value if they had a mix of your own stories and stories for somebody else that you could comment or present? If that's the case, then you have a clearer case for curation. The other way curation can help is you can actually highlight members of your community which are actively publishing. There's a great example we have with a company, a fast-growing startup in the Bay Area here called Docker. They're a technology company that using an open source technology, breakthrough technology, and they have a lot of developers doing fantastic things with their technology, and they're blogging about it. So they use Scoop.it to curate those stories and present them on their blogs, which not only enriches their own content, but kind of brings some value and it's a nice way to bring the value back to their community. Promoting their own content. So when you curate content, something interesting happens. We've talked about how it brings value to your audience, but it also brings value to the original content creator. You're bringing them traffic. You're saying to the world, to your audience, hey, this is great content. You should read it, and you bring them traffic. So there's a lot of win-win things that are going on as you build relationship. And we've talked a lot about how you build community, how you build relationship, how you do influencer marketing. And my take is that if you want to build a relationship with people who can be influential within a community, within a market, curating their content and giving them value before you ask them anything, that's a great way to start building a relationship and, enter their radar. So, long story short, I would say, yeah, I think it would make a lot of sense.
All right. Patricia's asked a further question. I made a comment. Patricia, would you like to come on air and ask? If you just click the call-in button.
I'm sorry, can you say again, Stephen?
Right. Patricia is coming on air to ask the
Good.
question. Okay. Patricia and I have chatted on many occasions over recent months on different blabs, and it's always good when somebody can hop in and ask a question. It's one of the beauties of live video, we hope.
Well, Guillaume, would you say that content curators are the influencers of the future?
So I'm not sure I would make that statement. I think curators have definitely strong influence, and they have the ability to really, build up their influence. I think there are lots of ways to build influence. I wouldn't say they are the only type of influencers, but yeah, it's absolutely a way to show some influence because you're actually, handpicking that content and presenting it to an audience. And so if you think about, going back to music, I'm sorry, but this is, kind of something that also defines me. And my first startup was in music, but so if you think of radio DJs, they're curators, and they've been influential in determining what music we listen to, what music got popular. We all know the stories of DJs launched a new song, a new act, and they made those people famous. So yes, curators have influence. I don't think that's the only kind of influence, but certainly it is.
Thank you. How are you today?
It's good to see you again.
Oh,
I think
yes.
we're all good.
How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you for answering my question. I guess my use of Scoop.it would be a little different, I suppose. It would be using, I guess, search words or keywords to find stories to write about, as opposed to using the actual work of other writers. That's what I was asking about, if that would be ethical and useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was talking about this continuum, and thanks for the question, because it allows me to clarify something. If you look at how curation works, the basic form of curation is you find a story, you tweet it. And like I said, you missed the opportunity to publish that on your website. And so I talked about the idea of doing a curated post. A curated post is a short quote from the original article, a link back to the original article, and then 1, 2, 3 paragraphs of your own that will enrich this article. The next way to use the platform, and so our platform integrates that and makes that, there's a template, you're guided, and a lot of people have found that useful. But you're absolutely right. Some people use our platform to even go a step further and to ideate from that content. So they type in the keywords they want, they read the stories they like, they can rank that by popularity, and they can find the content they like. They use that content for inspiration. Or they find that content to understand, okay, what else are people, reading on that same topic? And so if somebody's written on that topic from that angle, maybe I should come up with a different angle to have produce something different.
Okay, I was asking, because the way I would use it would kind of render your tool invisible, and I didn't know if that would be ethical or not. So. Oh
yeah, no. So absolutely. Like I said, we have our free version makes our tool visible, and then we have a lot of different paid options. Starting from $12.99 a month. That are designed for that particular purpose. And our model is simple. We don't charge anything for the free version. The catch, and it's we make that it's not a catch. It's there. It's clear, but it's that you publish on a Scoop.it page, so it's visible to your audience. And then if you want this to be invisible, we have a lot of different premium options.
Okay, it's a very interesting concept. I actually tried curating with another website. I think it's called Paperly or Paperly, and I wasn't satisfied. I was getting stories like today. I saw a story about a Brooklyn rapper who was killed in prison in New York. It has nothing to do with Durham, my city, and I was finding stories that have nothing to do with my area at all. So I thought I would try Scoop.it. And
I mean, I don't want to say anything on competitors, and
oh yeah, well, I probably should.
Well, Paperly is a very different tool. It doesn't work exactly in the same way, so that's why you didn't get the same results. That's basically what it is.
I'll definitely try it out. And it's really cute that my first newspaper in Chicago, my hometown, was called The Scoop.
Yeah, that's what we liked in the name. There's a content reference that has been there for a long time. So,
but thank you. I also wanted to point out a typo, which I guess you can look at later.
Yeah, thanks for that. I saw that on the. I'll look at that. I'm not sure what happened here, but thanks for that.
Before joining the media, I was a proofreader. I can't help it. So sorry about that.
That's important. Absolutely right.
So I'll hop off because somebody else might want to come in. And so thank you for this wonderful tool. I signed up and I will be checking it out.
All right. And don't hesitate to tweet me any questions if we can help.
Okay, Patricia.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by.
Okay.
Oh, Stephen froze again. But I guess, oh, he is back.
Okay, right. I'm back. Right. Okay, that's been a brilliant Q&A. Cendrine, I've got to say a big thank you to you, first of all, for being in contact with Guillaume. And if you'd like to thank Guillaume for being
Guillaume,
with us.
merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for being with us today. It was a pleasure to have you. Such a fantastic chat. And that makes me love Scoop.it even more than I loved Scoop.it before. Just to talk to you, very interesting. Stephen and I feel very privileged to have had you today because we know you're very busy. So thank you very, very much for being with us today.
Well, thank you. It was really a pleasure to be here. And so, Cendrine, keep me posted on your trip to Toulouse, and we'll make sure you connect with the team. You're going to be there in the fall.
For sure.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Feel free to tweet me any question. Love to chat on Twitter. I'm at GDECUGIS. And, happy to help in any way. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone who's been watching us. You'll be able to catch the replay if you came in.
Yes, the replay will be available once the video is processed on Blab.
When the show is finished. I'm going to pause the recording now. Thank you, everyone.